Lisa Guthrie at 1050 Aurora Avenue North, Seattle, Washington, 98133. And I've been continuously terrorized by Bloods and Zetas. Bloods. This building, it's a brown and yellow building on the left-hand side. One of the bums was just threatening a kidnap plot, and he just bragged. He said, if such happens, they won't know where it. And this fat ugly retard, by the way, likes to play in water supply around your apartment. And the rapist, by the way, that one has hepatitis. He threatens with rape. He and the other morons here, you can see the windows that are open, so you can tell where a lot of the threats were coming from by tracing which windows. Oh, no, I'm sorry, that's a different guy. That's a different fat ass in the hoodie. So they've been threatening, and they've been threatening kidnapping and rape. So, yeah, I do apologize. I think that the creep in the hoodie, he doesn't have hepatitis, but he is one of the crazy guys who is in on raping. Excuse me. And definitely the little scummy guy that looks like he looks like a regent from Manson family. He is definitely a rapist. And I believe he is the one. I was here about 3 days, and I heard the door pop open, and then somebody sneaked back to their apartment. And I think that ugly guy, that ugly thing that looks like Manson. They're all in on gang rape, and they've been talking about if we kidnap her, blah, 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 nobody will notice if they don't have the location. And so they've been trying to get me to pay extortion money since I've gotten here. They've also tried to prostitute me. They've also tried to get me to inject people with needles and mug them, and I refused, and that's what happened to my hand. That was placed into my water. It was acid of some sort or some bleaching agent. Now, there have been a lot of other threats, but I'm going to name the threats today. A lot of those threats included rape, slavery, captivity, including slavery for various people, naming names, including like the guy in the second floor window and second row in. Excuse me. You might be charting chakras. Back chakra was just blown up. They think they're very magic. I have to write for a second. I'll pause for a minute. And there's another attack. So I do curse them back. So, which cursing, the Bible cursed people. We are talking very foul people anyway. These are the worst of the worst. Sorry, you're looking at my breakfast. Part of it, I can't eat, obviously, the whole thing, but protein to go with it. So I live I would live in a nice natural way. I have asthma, allergies, chemical sensitivity, fibromyalgia. I have chronic fatigue, but unlike many of these people around me, my allergies weren't brought on, or my chemical sensitivities, they weren't brought on by me doing meth or coke or, being an alcoholic, like a lot of the people I believe bring on to themselves. I'm not saying everyone, but I'm saying when there's a drug addict or an alcoholic, I tend to lose sympathy because, we know where the lung cancer is from, pretty much, which is unpredictable, but we know that seizures aren't helped. Autoimmune disorders aren't helped by the meth that they're doing. So I tend to lose sympathy, and I wish the medical industry would, and as far as insurance would as well. And there's a reason for this. Not only are these people into things like that, they like to walk around with chemicals and dump things into people's water. They like to infect your food. I have to carry, this is a big tangled jungle, or things on the table that I have to carry in my book bag, and then maybe a bag to accompany it. So I'm a bag lady, and I have an apartment. And if I don't, well, this building lets people in, and it was pretty much entered right away. And it was entered, and I could tell it was entered, and I found broken glass, and also my whole apartment was sprinkled with broken glass. And when the apartment was sprinkled with broken glass, I got cut. So it's a popular gang crime, and these people will follow you. And they're not smart, they're not bright, they're not anybody. That's why they're in the gang. But just like ants, a large number of them, when they have a large number of people, then you actually have more power, obviously. And you have more resources, and the more people you induct, the more people you force into a gang, the more people that you coerce into a gang or bribe into a gang or even kill and absorb what they have or who they are. That sounds strange, doesn't it? Well, if you absorb somebody's identity and they were of qualifications or power, then presto, what do you have? You have their qualifications, talents, or power. Excuse me, I'm drinking my protein. I put coffee in it. This is a nice portable protein, by the way. A couple of different stores carry them. Even Fred Meyer has a nice protein. You can, it's in the dairy section. Or like, what is it? Yeah, dairy. It's in the dairy section. And you can, it's sometimes in your soy milk. But you can actually put your coffee in there. It's delicious. That's a nice way to get your extra vitamins. I miss meals sometimes. I don't cook here anymore. The water is foul and toxic, as you can see, and not only are there chemicals dumped in, which the managers have endorsed illegally, I would like to say that in America this is, of course, illegal. Now, what goes on here is that there is a janitor's room. The janitor's room reaches around part of the apartment. It starts from the front door and ends up in the like the kitchen area. And then supposedly, they've bragged about too, there is a chute that goes from the well, it's not an apartment, it's a janitor's room, so that'd be behind 329, which is my unit, and I'm at 10507 Aurora Avenue North, Seattle, Washington, 98133, brown and yellow building, on the left-hand side if you're going north. I'm in 329, third floor. There is no proper first floor. It's all common area. A lot of common, this is actually a big building. I think there was a lot of waste going on. They made the units small, and then they have like a vast cement, looks like a tomb or a basement. It's a very ugly sort of dining room area. This is a crazily built place anyway, so if you're operating on the laws of like energies, by the way, the feng shui I think is very bad. I think it's terrible. And by the way, as I'm talking, the bums have been taking like chakra and uterus. And yesterday, by the way, I was threatened by somebody at Elizabeth Gregory that connects to this building, and her name is Zine. And she was saying, and now I was just talking about uterine from a, now Zine is a transgender. You can't really tell. I couldn't at first. I just wondered about her voice. It wasn't about transgender. She just seemed so feminine to me. But she's, I think she's Melanesian, or I think it's Melanesian. But anyway, she's from Palau, and she's about 5'4". She's rather petite. Sort of nice dark hair and a heart-shaped face. Well, she told me yesterday, she's not a nice person, but she's scum that takes advantage of, she'll beg and get quite a lot of money and then go to Elizabeth Gregory because she can't get her Q-tips. And they rewarded her with a pretty nice transitional home. It's affiliated with Elizabeth Gregory. And they've rewarded her, I believe, because she's a gang member. And she's scum, and she's probably doing things for the management. That seems to be the people that are favored in today's society, even if they're not going to a charity, but they seem to be the bums that are getting some of the lower-end jobs or mid-range jobs, even like salesmen at certain stores, or if they are just like a coffee jerk, a barista, or a truck driver. So I woke up 13 years ago and I realized we'd fallen with Satan, and I'm not going to lie about it. And it seemed to be a gang member, and they had a gang member connection, and there's a reason for it. Well, everybody was dead for 13 minutes. Their brains were soft and mushy, and they were actually reprogrammed by gang members and other scum, which included black Nazis. And there is a huge black Nazi faction within the Bloods and Zetas. They also will work with Asian street gangs, and it's a rainbow of colors, and it's a rainbow of morons in America, is what I say. But on top of everything else, you have this huge black Nazi faction, like off to the left, second floor, second unit in. There's a black Nazi, there are a couple of them, even on the third floor, and they constantly tell me things like, you will do this for the black man, you're going to give me blah, 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 and they'll name a sexual situation. And did I say I wanted a black man? No, I didn't. And did I say I wanted any man? Did I say I wanted a zombie? Well, basically, you're dealing with zombies, and they don't have their own brains, they don't have their own chakras, they don't have auras or soul, and they've taken you down, and they want to take the rest of the world down, and they took the spirit world down. Satan helped them. That's where they got these powers. Now, I like to talk about what else they do. You might think it's crazy, but they were playing eating you earlier. So basically, what they did is they ate themselves, and they ate the rest of the U.S. What do I mean by that? Oh, well, they're putting a curse on people when they try to eat their etheric body, their etheric, and that also extends into cannibalism, because then they think that they are subbing you. They think they are making you a subordinate, and I would like to discuss, now, I discuss nuts and bolts, and if you're tired of hearing of paranormal, I'll tell you about gang procedures, and it's a serious crime about the glass, and these people will also sprinkle people with glass in public. And so it wouldn't be now, let's say that these bums are on the bus. Obviously, I'm going to notice them. Well, what they would typically do, they have other contacts. So the other bums follow, and then like a retarded hooker on Aurora will just fling out her hand, and she's got glass in her hand. And there are different shapes of glass, and they make different types of cut marks. There's one that's a hook. If they put it in your cosmetics, which they did to me, they will then cause a hook to actually, you'll rub it on your skin, and then that's their hope, at least. And then it's designed then to pull flesh, take out a chunk of you. And they were threatening me for my kidney. And that was from inside the area behind my apartment. It's behind this wall. It's this uterine. Now, this is Lisa Guthrie. The broth will be chopped up because it keeps pausing. I never know if it's going to put the broadcast together and broadcast the clump of it. Lately, I've had difficulty with CameraFi where it's not the actual broadcast to the text or the post. So the post is going out separately. So I will explain. I'm Lisa Guthrie. I'm in 10507 Aurora Avenue North, Seattle, Washington, 98133. Seem choppy or chopped up. It's because I'm just using a smartphone. That's all I'm doing. It's not like a professional stream, which I'm going to get very much money and it'll stream. A couple of them, though, they don't seem like they're very good resolution. But there are people that hide, and I continuously talk behind my apartment, including the kitchen. I don't have anything, crack whore or anything like that, like the rest of these people. It's just that there's nothing to keep in this apartment that, except clothing, which that's threatened all the time. And I have to keep sealed food, sealed water.